All right, folks, let's buckle up because the Wildman is fired up tonight. And if you tuned in to our two most recent call-in shows, Monday night you heard Burke's drop a question that lit a fire under this old body. He asked if why I said Michigan was not a blue blood. And then Thursday night, when I was filling in for Eric, we addressed this again in the chat. Who are the blue bloods? Who are college football's blue bloods? So myself, along with our callers, along with the people in our chat, came up with the following list of blue bloods. Well, first, let me give you some criteria. Criteria is sustained success over multiple decades, multiple national titles. You are a standard bearer for the game. What does that mean? That means your program is one of the faces of college football's elite. When people see your uniform walk on the field, they know they are in the presence of greatness. You help to shape the face of the game. So this was our list. We came up with 5. Receiving the most votes and actually tied were Ohio State and Alabama. Coming in next was Notre Dame. Then we had Texas, and to round it out was Clemson. Now, people may say, why was Georgia not in there? Well, the listeners ruled Georgia more of a new blood than a blue blood. I could make an argument. The same could be said for Clemson, but Clemson got the votes. So I'm not going to argue with their take on this. But that is the blue bloods. So is Michigan really a blue blood? No. No, they are not. And it's time we stop pretending otherwise. Just because you wear blue and yellow and scream about being leaders and best doesn't make it true. It's not how it works. That's not how any of this works. Let's cut through that yellow colored crap, that blue delusion, and get down to some cold hard facts. Michigan has, though they try to claim 12 national titles, they have 10 recognized national titles at this point. Of those, 7 of them happened before the creation of the face mask. 7 of your 10 titles happened before 1933. Back when schools like Harvard and Yale and Princeton ruled the football world. Back when 3 to 4 teams could lay claim to a national title. And that happened. If you're not relevant since 1948, and you're not, guys, let's call it what it is. Your team has not been relevant since 1948. Or relevant, I'm sorry. Relevant since 1948. 5 of your 10 titles are split titles. The 2 titles that came after 1948, one of them is highly questionable, carries a big asterisk, and may not exist in a few months. And then you like to throw out 1997, you're shared with Nebraska. It's a cute little co-championship that, you can put on a bumper sticker. And then 2023, of course. You cheated to get there. At best, it's an asterisk title. Even giving them that, before the half title and the asterisk title, you got to go back to 1948. 77 years ago, guys. And then, as far as shaping the face, the culture, shaping the face of college football, how can you cheat? How can you have a litany of scandals from recruiting violations to the coaches with the legal trouble to and without I mean Denard Robinson, Scruggs, um, obviously Matt Weiss, Alex Yode. You've got now Jim Harbaugh, your former president Santa Ono, Ward Manuel, all named in these civil suits with the people from the Weiss scandal. You have and you've got Clinkscale and Minner on show causes. You fired Chris Partridge for obstruction. Uh, Sharon Moore, how he didn't get fired for obstruction, I don't know. He was erasing text messages, but he gets a free pass. Guys, these are not leaders. They are not best. They damn sure aren't blue bloods. They're a joke. They're the laughingstock of college football. They're just too stupid to realize it. Meanwhile, let's look at what some real blue bloods look like. Alabama. Sustained success over a long period. 16 national titles. Ohio State. 9 national titles. 8 of them since 1950. That just shows our relevance as opposed to the scum relevance. We've won in the AP era. We've won in the BCS era. We've won in the 4-team playoff. We've won in the 16-team playoff. We have had 3 losing seasons in our football team's history. I'm sorry, three since 1950. 3 since 1950. I stand corrected. Guys, that's sustained success. Woody Hayes had 1 losing season in 1959. John Cooper had one in 1988. And then Luke Fickell, who stepped into an impossible situation in 2011, he had his season, which was a losing season here as interim coach. Although he was 6-7 and only lost because Gene Smith was too stupid to take our bowl ban that season instead of pushing off to the next year when it ended up costing us a national title. If you look at modern era dominance, and I'm going to talk about 1961 to 1975 right now for a stretch. When the AP title was won by Blue Bloods every single year. What was Michigan doing in that time? I'll tell you what. Not winning national titles. They were the third wheel in their own rivalry. Woody Hayes was running the Big Ten at that time. Bo's just a guy trying to play catch up. Ohio State owned that era. Let's look at the numbers since 1949. So these are the numbers since the Scum's national title. Michigan has 24 Big Ten titles since then. A lot of them shared. Ohio State, guys, Ohio State has 10 more than that. How about All Americans? Michigan, 62 consensus All Americans since 1949. Not bad. It's not the 95 that Ohio State's produced. You know why? Because we don't compete, we reload. Head to head, I'm glad. I'm glad that somebody thought to ask me about this one. Head to head. Oh, well, we own the rivalry. Yeah, yeah, you do have the lead in the rivalry right now. You do. However, in the last 100 games, Ohio State is 51, 45, and 4 over the span. They're 40, 34, and 4 since 1949. Want to zoom into this century? It's even worse for you guys. From 2001 until today, Michigan has beaten the Buckeyes 5 times. 5. And they had to cheat to get 3 of them. Guys, this is not a blue blood. Yeah, Michigan's got history. They can have their stupid little winged helmets, their little Victor's Fight song, and a whole lot of trash talk. But history without modern success just belongs in a museum. It's an exhibit, not a legacy. Michigan, your fan base lives in the past. If you're not delusional about the present, you're living in the past. You cling to your all-time win total like it's the Holy Grail, ignoring the fact that you padded it by playing high school level teams before World War I. You then padded it further by sending Connor Steins out to cheat and get you 40 additional wins. Being a blue blood isn't just about who you were, it's about who you've been and who you are now. And right now, you are not in the same class as Alabama, as Ohio State, as Notre Dame, as Texas, as Clemson, as Georgia, as USC. Hell, at this point, you're not in the same league as LSU, who has a better modern resume. If we were to use basketball standards, where blue bloods means multiple modern era titles and repeated title game appearances, guys, the cheaters up north, they're second tier. At best, they're a once in a while contender, not a perennial powerhouse. So the next time one of these scum fans want to tell you that Michigan is a blue blood, I want you to look them straight in the eye and I want you to say, if Michigan's a blue blood, then I'm Elvis Presley. I'm the king. Because you can't be a blue blood if your only legitimate title in the last 75 years is a half title you split with Nebraska. You can't be a blue blood if you got outclassed by your rival for the better part of a century. And you sure as hell can't be a blue blood if you spend more time talking about the past winning in the present. Burks, my dude, let me tell you, mad respect for you. You lit a fuse in me. But for the record, Michigan is not, I repeat, not a blue blood. They are simply riding a historic has-beens coattails that were sowed in the 1920s and 1930s. Around here, we don't crown teams from the past. We crown champions. This is the Wildman signing off with one last message for Ann Arbor. You may have finally legitimately won one last year, but history is still written in scarlet and gray. Good night, God bless, and go Bucks.